Hello, this is James St. James, and in this episode we're going to be talking about the 6 levels of stress. Let's learn about the functional anatomy of the human body from a healer perspective so that we can reverse engineer intuitive healing so that we can re-engineer body and mind to think and perform how we want. Stress is a big factor in life. We all try to avoid it as much as we can, but seem to acquire more and more regardless. For many, it seems like an uphill battle that we constantly lose and until we die. Currently, about 90% or more of all disease in the world is attributed to stress in the medical literature. Most major and widespread diseases are believed by scientists to be caused by stress, such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, respiratory problems, stroke, and even cancer. But what is stress? Where does it show up? Why does it even exist? In this episode, I want to cover what stress is, how it affects us from a biological perspective, and 6 classifications of how stress is stored in the body. Understanding more about stress will help us understand what is keeping us from feeling or performing better. From my experience working with the human body, I classify the levels of stress into 6 distinct categories related to the time frames and the level of difficulty required to fix the issues that were caused by stress. With each increasing level, the damage to the human body increases exponentially, meaning that level 2 damage would take somewhere around 10 times more effort to repair than level 1 damage. Before we jump into the categories, let me first address what I'm referring to when I say stress. What we commonly refer to as daily stress is in fact damage. That damage can be from injury, toxification, or emotional mismanagement. Even though the damage is only from one of the 3 aspects of the body, which you might recall from episode 1, the electrical, chemical, and mechanical, it will invariably affect all 3 dimensions because they are inseparable. So if stress happens in the mechanical, it will also cause stress in the chemical and the electrical as well. But also at the same time, the electrical and the chemical can help prevent stress from happening in the mechanical. Over time and through repetition, things like daily stress and lower level stress related damage can escalate to higher level damage. This is important because deeper layers of stress within the body can progressively become permanent, leading to many diseases and possibly even kill you. When the body loses its ability to maintain the electrical functionality, it alters the physiology. Once the physiology stops supporting tissue sufficiently, they become subject to permanent physical damage. When damaged, the body parts lose structural stability and the ability to perform their physiological and mechanical functions, be they producing emotions, thinking, or moving, and so on. When our emotions, thinking, or movement become impaired to some noticeable degree, we colloquially will say that we are stressed out or fatigued. This stress then compounds over time to eventually lead to failures of the tissues and organs, and at this stage we would medically categorize or refer to it as disease of some sort. So the goal of understanding stress is so that things like disease don't even become a topic of discussion for you, but rather stress-related diseases will hopefully become physically impossible should you choose to remove the stress from your body. If we work to focus primarily on resolving the issues leading to disease, we might be able to avoid over 90% of the world's disease, in contrast to what we're currently doing, which is trying to cure each disease after it has fully manifested. Not only do I believe that this is a better lifestyle approach, because it's a lot better to try and fix stress than it is to fix deadly diseases, but it's also more economical and it can give mankind a whole new fighting chance against illness. You might be asking, can we really stop stress? Is that even possible? I'm glad you asked. Let's go over now the 6 levels of stress so that we can clearly define what is possible and what is not. At the baseline level, there is no stress. This means that there is no damage and the tissues maintain proper flexibility and flow necessary to support proper cellular function. In level 1 stress, this is normal stress onset. This might be from things as simple or routine as sitting in poor posture during a long day of work, and it can easily be recovered with nutritious food, stretching, a good sleep, and probably a safe location with a positive emotional environment. Level 2, chronic damage. If level 1 damage is left unchecked, the issues often compound and become level 2 damage. This level of damage includes things like high postural muscle tone or even chronic back soreness. At this point, it will take some manner of therapy to resolve, such as massage therapy, acupuncture, chiropractic, yoga, etc. Level 3, severe compensatory damage. When chronic damage is allowed to remain, tissues will be forced to compensate in order to stay in normal working order. Compensating tissues will be very tense to the touch, to the point of being locked up. There will be less soreness and nerve sensitivity except under intense physical intervention. These tissues are severely damaged and require very serious treatments. At this point, massage and standard therapies will not work alone. You will likely need either many hours of physical therapy or combined therapies. It is possible that many years of yoga or Pilates can resolve level 3 damage, but for most it is just very unlikely, unless you are very dedicated and also make strategic use of the therapies such as heat, electrostimulation, and deep tissue massage. Level 4, broken tissue. As time passes and tissues are in a state of level 3 damage, compensating for injury and poor habits and so on, it becomes increasingly likely for the tissues to break in some way. This could be locked up inflexible tissue that is forcibly moved in a way that it can't handle. As an example, if a generally sedentary person had to twist awkwardly up into their attic and grab a heavy box, resulting in a sudden sharp pain or pinch in their back, then this would be an example of broken tissue. It could also occur when tissues gradually become too tight and locked up so that the flow of blood, nerve, and cellular waste from the blood cells becomes cut off. Once this tissue is damaged that badly, it's no longer able to heal on its own. The cells are technically still alive, and the body will actually initiate an emergency measure by preserving them in a dark, pus-like fluid that delivers a basic amount of nutrients and oxygen so that the remaining cells don't fully die. But the tissue is still unusable. The only way to fix this tissue or replace it with healthy tissue is actually to create small tears so that the vessels and nerves can regrow and the nutrient supply can be restored. Physical therapy and surgery can help with this, but almost always they will not be able to regenerate the tissues fully. 5. Scar tissue formation and cellular death. At level 5, the tissue is not alive anymore and all cells have died, and only broken fibrous collagen fibers, or scar tissue, remains in its place. Scar tissue is very strong. How strong? Keep in mind that collagen fibers that are in your body are actually around 10 times stronger than steel for their size. Although it's not live tissue, the body uses it as a sort of last-ditch effort to prevent further damage to the surrounding tissue and to be able to withstand the force loads of daily activity. At this point, there is no possibility for regeneration, and to break apart this damage is extremely difficult, if not impossible, without damaging the body further. In summary, stress levels 1 and 2 can easily be reversed with minimal therapeutic treatment. If we apply the necessary therapies in a strategic way before ever reaching stress level 3, then basic level treatments could allow a person to never experience long-term health problems. However, based on the way that our society prioritizes the value of human life and the experience for each person, that would be extremely unlikely. From what I have seen in numerous cultures and countries throughout the world is that there is already numerous points of level 3 damage throughout a child's body, even by the age of 5. This is just the way that societies and cultures are, and possibly even just the way life is. Different cultures have different values, but there's not a single culture or community on Earth that values the fixing of tissue damage starting from a young age. So even from a young age, almost everyone will have significant amounts of level 3 damage. This, on top of years of additional stress, will lead to level 4 and eventually level 5 damage that can begin to accumulate around the teenage years. Once the damage has moved into the level 4 category, it's almost too late for conventional methods. So there's nothing really in medical science, Chinese medicine, or Ayurvedic medicine that can reverse this level of damage. The only possibility of removing it might be through surgery in some cases. But even with the current medical procedures, this would most likely cause more harm than good. So if level 4 damage is almost completely out of reach, then it would be safe to say that level 5 at this point is pretty much impossible to fix. However, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, so I want to let you know that if you have level 4 or 5 damage in your body, and pretty much anyone over the age of 20 does, then there is still hope. The reason I'm creating this video series is because after traveling the world for many years learning from various doctors and scientists, I've only found one person who's capable of fixing level 4 damage. He's an intuitive healer from a village here in Indonesia, and right now I'm studying alongside him to learn his methodology so I can create additional effective healing techniques to resolve the level 4 stress-related damage. I've already created some techniques for that level 4 damage, and I'll be sharing these techniques in a different series. And now I'm currently working on being able to resolve level 5 damage, which is seemingly impossible. But based on what I've seen, I believe that if we combine what we've learned from the healer along with modern medical science, soon that maybe fixing level 5 damage in the human body might be possible. This will open up the possibility to completely regenerate damaged parts of the human body no matter how much damage has occurred, with one condition being that the tissues must be still intact, meaning if you've had a leg or organ removed, then there's no way of magically growing it back, but as long as the body part is still there and connected, no matter how damaged it is, we'll be able to fully regenerate it. And that's my vision when we are able to figure out how to fix level 5 damage. This is my primary goal and what I'm really excited about in the near future, so I hope you stick with me and follow my videos so that you can join me in this healing journey where we can make the impossible possible. Keep in mind that humanity has come a long way in the last few hundred years already, and just a few hundred years ago we were fighting off barbarians and bears, and our understanding of medical science was pretty limited. However, in this day and age, we are no longer fighting off barbarians and bears, but rather we're fighting on the front lines against stress and mental illness in our homes, our bodies, our minds, and in society. Still, despite the advances in medical technology, the rates of stress-related diseases and mental illness continue to rise. And at this point, we've accepted that stress and related illnesses are just a part of normal life. But what is normal for everyone else doesn't have to be normal for you. Now that you're on your path to understanding what stress is and how it may be affecting you, you can take control over your stress. By following the information in this series, hopefully you can reverse the damage that the stress has caused so that you can regain your vitality and live fully once again. In the next episode, let's go over the 6 types of pain and how we can use them in a healing strategy. If you want to learn more about the body and mind, then feel free to check out the other videos in this channel or subscribe. And if you have a question about anything, then drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. I'll see you in the next video.